Do you feel like you are in a literal pressure cooker right now? Like, why are things getting so tight, so squeezy, so hard to breathe? Oh my God. You're okay, I think. But this week, things are gonna be really tense, potentially really, really, really tense. And honey, that's because things have to change. Pressure is power. It is a steam engine. It is a tornado. It is a literal vacuum cleaner. And don't forget that diamonds also come into existence through pressure. They can't exist without it. And this week, through the tension, we are gonna find your sparkle, honey. This is what it all means for you. Let's spill the weekly brew. Hello, and welcome to Astrology. I'm your host and your spiritual friend, Aliza Kelly, and I am so happy that you're here. This is your weekly brew. I serve it hot and fresh every single Monday. The theme of the week is Pressure is Power. Yes, it is. And the top 3 things to know are: number 1, we have a very, very special transit happening. It's between Mars and Jupiter. It's a square, which is tough, but it also has so much magical potential. And this one in particular is really extra vibrant. Number 2, we are going to feel a little more sensitive, a little more triggered, a little more activated in our conversations due to some prickly vibes between Mercury and Pluto. But we are going to be getting a lot of very important information through this discomfort. And number 3, Pluto is beginning its long retrograde journey, which is going to take us all the way into October, slay. And for us right now, this means that the work is turning inwards. We're going to be examining our own power dynamics, our own patterns, our own obsessions and attachments, and choosing to transform those systems from the inside out. If you are new here, welcome. We are living, laughing, loving, spilling, slaying every single Monday and Wednesday. On Mondays, I have our weekly brew, which is where I serve up horoscopes and tarot pulls, journal prompts, explanations as to what the hell is going on in the sky. And then every single Wednesday, you're invited to our tea party, which is where we deep dive into astrology concepts to help you really understand what's going on with you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting this brand new podcast in its earliest days. I would so deeply appreciate if you could just take a moment to rate 5 stars, review, and follow our show. Thank you. Thank you for joining me here. I have your weekly brew coming up right now, so stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome, friends. This is your Monday weekly brew. The theme of the week is Pressure is Power. Yes, it is. So let's talk about what it means for you and how you can really lean into the squeeze of the week ahead. On Monday, May 4th, which is, if you are listening or watching this at the very start of the week, it's today, Mars, the planet of action and motivation, is forming its annual square to Jupiter. Jupiter being the planet of abundance and fortune and big casino daddy energy. BCD, baby. Get on that roulette tip, okay? Now, we know Mars, right? We just did a whole Wednesday Tea Party episode on this Austin Powers silly head of a planet. So if you want to find out what Mars means in your chart, be sure to go to that episode and check it out. But what you should know right now is that Mars in the sky is in Aries, which is its domicile, which means it's in its home base. Mars is about doing shit and being aggressive and not giving any fucks. And Aries is about doing shit and being aggressive and not giving any fucks. Mars wants to win. Aries wants to win. Mars is what Viagra wishes it could be. Aries is what Viagra wishes it could be. They are one and of the same. They are twinsies. It is a match made in heaven. So no wonder Mars is the ruler of Aries. Mars has been in Aries since April 9th, and this has been a palpable energy. It's been making everyone and everything a little more aggro. Not always negative, sometimes negative. You know, it's good to feel motivated to get things done. So that could be a really helpful and supportive energy to work with if you are getting things done. But if you are not getting things done, which no shame, no judgment, who could possibly do anything in this world. But that energy could feel a little bit maddening, right? Like, what the fuck? What do I do with all of this like undirected energy? I'm feeling competitive, but I don't know where to focus that competition. I'm feeling like I should be further along in whatever area of life, but I'm feeling stuck. This week, today, we have Jupiter in Cancer in dialogue with Mars. Jupiter, the planet of fortune, expansion, has been in Cancer since June of last year. And we only have a few more months of Jupiter in Cancer because on June 30th, it's moving into Leo. And we're going to talk about that a lot as we get closer to the date. But what you should know right now is that it's a very different vibe than what we have experienced over this last year with Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter in Cancer has blessed us with Jupiter in its exaltation. When a planet is in its exaltation, it's optimized, it's thriving, it's the happiest and luckiest and bestest that a planet could be. And I'm always fascinated by the fact that the planet of luck and fortune, which I love to personify as casino daddy, gold chains, a Hawaiian shirt, tufts of chest hair, a tiki drink with a little umbrella, holding a stack of hundos, right? Why is Jupiter happiest in Cancer? The sign of the crab, the hermit, the sign that's ruled by the moon, the sign of cozy, nurturing, macrame-wearing mommy energy. And here's the tea, okay? Jupiter is exalted in Cancer because growth at its core demands safety. It needs something to root itself in, something to protect, something that matters. So Jupiter in Cancer isn't just about getting more. It's actually about making meaning. And Cancer gives Jupiter that depth. It gives Jupiter something to nurture, to care for, to build over time. It reminds us that abundance isn't just about what you acquire, it's about what you sustain. Not to mention, and here's the real tea, Jupiter has such interesting Freudian mommy and daddy issues. Namely, that Jupiter's own daddy, Kronos, Saturn, ever heard of him, literally tried to eat his children. And Jupiter was protected and saved by his mommy. Okay, so yeah, Jupiter adores a mommy, and who could blame him? And when you think about it, there really is nothing more abundant than a big pregnant belly. Jupiter in Cancer is about fertility, and fertility is not just about having children, it's also about the creative process and what we bring and birth into the world. Anyway, so this week we have this Mars and Jupiter square. So Mars is in its domicile in Aries, Jupiter is in its exaltation in Cancer, and because it's a square, a 90-degree angle, which I always say is like getting elbowed 90-degree style in the stomach, you are going to feel the tension of needing something to happen. You are going to feel like something is about to burst. And this could be the combination of like your ambition pressing up against your need for security and protection. It could be that competitive spirit that you have colliding with your empathy and your sensitivities. It could be your need for action and movement pushing up against what you actually feel supported by. And for you, this is going to look like needing to move, which you should, but you should also integrate a little bit of intentionality into those movements. You need to do something, but in a way that actually supports your life, not destabilizes it. And, some examples of what this could look like, saying yes to an opportunity because it's exciting, because it's lucrative, because it's literally what you have been manifesting, but also needing to check in with the people in your life to ensure that you and everyone else has the capacity to be able to support this new path forward. This could also look like wanting to really make an effort at work, really wanting to, push harder, do the damn thing, while also simultaneously realizing that you're exhausted, you're burnt out, you literally don't have time for anything else. And I get it. You want to do it all, but you can't do it all at the same time all the time. This could also look like showing up in relationships and really pushing back on the ways that you need your independence, you need your space, you're having conversations about maybe taking some time apart, not because the relationship is failing, but because you're just like, I need a breather. But then you get there and you're like, wait, I miss them so much. I don't want to be alone. So ultimately, my friends, be gentle with yourself in navigating the transit, this Mars square Jupiter this week, but not so gentle that you get stuck and incapable of taking action. Because this 90-degree aspect is all about doing something. It's about understanding the pressure, figuring out the forces behind it, and then how you can fuse the different elements, the different aspects of this involvement. So in this case, it's risk and security to help you get a better grip on what you actually want to be doing with yourself, with your time, with your career, with your relationships. So use this as fuel to help move you forward and not something just to, get stuck and feel stifled by. Next up, we actually have another square this week, and this one is between Mercury and Pluto, and it's taking place on Tuesday, May 5th. So Mercury, the planet of communication, is right now in Taurus. Mercury here wants to slow things down. It wants to ground us. It wants to help us speak deliberately and focus on what's real and what's tangible and what we can trust and what we can rely on. Pluto is in the sign of Aquarius, and that energy wants us to disrupt and expose and push conversations into deeper, uncomfortable territory, especially as it relates to exposing and bringing up power and control and collective dynamics as to like who's in charge. What does it mean about the future? What does it mean about modernity? What does it mean about the world at large? It's very cerebral, whereas Mercury and Taurus, not so much. So this week, we are going to feel that tension. We're going to feel more sensitive, more triggered, more activated by certain conversations, but we're also going to be getting important, invaluable information through the discomfort. This could look like conversations that start off like very, very normal. It doesn't seem like anything is coming up, and then things really escalate. And something that's very small ultimately reveals a much bigger issue that has been lingering beneath the surface. It could look like realizing that someone isn't being fully honest with you, or maybe, Diva, you aren't being fully honest with them. And you are either going to get called out and caught in a lie, or maybe you're going to have the courage to hold yourself accountable by investigating, what's the deal with your secret keeping right now? Why are you afraid of actually being vulnerable and telling people what's really going on with you? This also could look like obsessive thinking, right? Replaying interactions or feeling like you need to get to the bottom of everything right now. We love a detective, but the key here is not jumping to conclusions or getting freakishly paranoid, but staying present with yourself. So if something feels intense, honey, there's a reason. If something hits a nerve, honey, there's a reason. If you're feeling like you need more information, honey, there's a reason. This is the moment to really tune in and figure out not just what is being said, but what is actually being communicated beneath the surface. And I really need you to trust yourself, but also hold yourself to a very high standard so that you can really discern where you're being petty and where you're being tuned in. And remember, anxiety is a siren, intuition is a whisper. Your intuition needs a calm nervous system in order to communicate with you effectively. So when in doubt, find your peace. And last but certainly not least, we have Pluto retrograde beginning this week. On Sunday, May 10th, Pluto pivots backwards, and it is going to be rolling in reverse all the way until October 15th. That's 5 months, honey. Outer planet retrogrades are not really as important as personal planet retrogrades like Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, Mars retrograde, because when it comes to those planets that are deep, deep, deep out in our solar system, they spend nearly half of their orbit retrograde. But even still, Pluto retrograde is something we should be aware of because it takes that story of Pluto, the journey of transformation and discovery and death and rebirth, and it invites us to start exploring that internally rather than externally. So think about some Plutonian things like power dynamics, control, obsession. Consider what those mean for you, where they exist in your life, in your body, in your healing journey. How can you invite some compassion, some release, maybe even some surrender into those areas of life? Maybe it's where you try to control outcomes. Maybe it's where you find yourself falling into power dynamics in your professional relationships or in your romantic relationships. Maybe it's you micromanaging situations that don't go exactly as you want them to go. Ultimately, your Pluto story is very personal. And it's also very collective. So remember that as above, so below, the experience that you have metabolizing control, obsession, power is also what we all need to be tuning into, tapping into, unpacking, dismantling. And that all starts with you. This is the work. This is the brew. And don't forget, Diva, pressure is power. That's the theme of the week. And over the next few days, you got it. You can handle it. You know how to withstand a little pushy push. There's nothing you can't do. And right now, we're just being asked to, recognize the tension and lean into it. It's no big deal. And as always, I have your journal prompt for the week ahead. Where am I feeling the pressure? And what is that pressure trying to tell me about my next steps? Let us look to see what tarot right over here has to say about the week ahead. If you're new here, hello! Hi, I'm Aliza. This is Astrology. This is our weekly brew. If you are not new here, you know what we do. We pull a tarot card every single week to help us take a different and important and critical look at the energies, what's coming up, have a different entry point into our story. So let's see what we need to know from a tarot POV about the week ahead. Ooh, okay, it's Two of Wands. Two of Wands, hello, Two of Wands, here we go. This is saying, hey, honey, the world is literally in the palm of your hand. It's giving Tony Montana, the world is yours. There are so many new narratives, storylines, opportunities, possibilities, potentials out there for you. But in order for you to begin this journey, you need to grab some walking sticks and get ready for a very, very long hike. And how are you going to do that? You are going to do that through the passion and the purpose and the drive and the determination to keep going. And, I think that like the pressure and the tension of this card is almost overlooked often because, we see a person who's like looking out onto the horizon. It's like, wow, it's all out there for me. But whenever you have a two in tarot, you always have a this and a that. There's always something that you need to balance. There's something that you need to reconcile. And with the squares that we have this week, Mars square Jupiter, Mercury square Pluto, it's all about reconciling. It's all about taking multiple experiences and multiple needs that exist in your life, recognizing that they all matter, they're all valuable, and putting one foot in front of the other in order to keep it going while still maintaining the different obligations that you have, the different things that you need to tend to. Two things are always something to juggle, right? And we see this in the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles is literally somebody juggling. Two of Wands also has a juggalo storyline here, where we have these two sticks that we need to make sure that we're using for our 2 feet as we begin this long journey. You're different than you used to be. You're older, you're wiser. You have a heavier backpack on. You have a much greater load. It doesn't mean you can't get where you want to go, but you just need to be mindful of what you're carrying with you into this new territory, into this new chapter and cycle in your life. Now, coming up next, I have your horoscope. Yes, I do. It's your horoscope. Tea is served constantly. The puns are endless. I'm not a dad. You're a dad. You're the one making dad jokes, okay? Stay tuned for your personalized horoscope right after this quick break. Welcome back. It's time for this week's personalized horoscope. As always, I want to remind you of two little things. Number one, I invite you to listen for your sun and your rising sign because together these tell a more complete story about where this week's energy is going to show up for you. And number two, in astrology, Aries is the first sign, Pisces is the last. We're always going to go in zodiacal order, and you'll never need to worry about it because if you want to find your sign easily, you'll find it in the timestamps, okay? Let's do it. Hello, Aries. This week, you are feeling a real tension between who you are becoming and what the people who you love actually need from you. There is an urgency in your body. There's a desire to act, to move, to make decisions that reflect your autonomy and your identity and your passions. And we love this for you, Aries. Go off. Mars is still in your sign, and it's continuing to amplify that urge, that instinct that is so innately yours. You want to take up space. You want to initiate. You want to claim your value, what you actually can bring to the table. But we have a little issue here, right? Unfortunately, Aries, your life isn't just about you. It never was, it never will be, because there will always be people who rely on you, people who are affected by your choices, people who exist within the ecosystem of your decisions. You feel me? And this week, that tension is really annoying. You are going to feel like you are being pulled in different directions. One is towards your future life. The other one might feel like you're going back towards the people and the responsibilities that ground you, but you do not feel very inspired by. What is becoming clear is that some of your recent actions, or maybe even your recent impulses, may not fully account for the emotional reality of the people around you. That doesn't mean you're wrong, Aries. It means that you are a human. And it also means that you are an Aries, but it does mean that you need to right now slow down and really take it all in. You are learning that independence isn't just about doing whatever you want. I'm sorry. It's about making choices that aren't going to bite you in the ass later because people are going to be impacted by your decisions. You feel me? The power of this week is integration. You don't need to sacrifice your desires to maintain stability, but you do need to build a version of success that includes the people you care about. And when you move with courage and consideration, Aries, you create something sustainable that people want to be a part of. And that's a real win. Hello, Taurus. This week draws your attention inward, towards your mental and emotional state in a way that feels really necessary, but also perhaps very inconvenient. You have things that you need to do, Taurus. You cannot just sit in bed all day and eat ice cream and wallow. There are demands on your time. There are invitations. There are RSVPs that you want to say yes to. There are expectations that you show up, that you engage, that you participate, that you have fun, that you plan a birthday party for yourself, that you cook food, that you take care of everyone, that you clean up after, and still somehow you are also supposed to never complain. Taurus, on some level, this is actually what you want to be doing. You want to be the bull that does it all without ever breaking a sweat or a glass, right? You value consistency. You value loyalty. You appreciate being someone that others can rely on because you want to set a standard that says, like, this is what I expect from you in return. But when we go a few layers deeper, we can maybe start to recognize that you're tired, you're exhausted, not just physically, although yes, that too, but you are mentally, emotionally, energetically exhausted. And that type of exhaustion does not respond well to overcommitment. You are going to start to notice a disconnect between what looks good on paper and what actually feels good in your body. Plans that once felt exciting might now feel draining. Conversations that felt easy or should seem to be easy are going to require more effort than you have to give. This is not a shortcoming. This is not a failure. It's just you becoming more aware of your limits and, more importantly, even than that, more respectful of them. The challenge is that not everyone is going to understand that you are shifting those boundaries, right? So you may feel pressure to maintain your usual pace because that is what others expect of you. But this week, you need to redefine what it means for you to show up, Taurus. You can't say yes to everything. You can't be everyone's shoulder to cry on. Your mental health isn't something that you can manage from the sidelines, okay? It is the foundation, the epicenter for everything in your life. So when you prioritize that, Taurus, trust me, you will be able to do everything that you want to do. But starting from the mental health, then you expand from there. You get it? Hello, Gemini. This week, there is a strong pull towards your expansion. Not abstractly, in a very, very real embodied way, baby. You want to meet new people. You want to enter some new environments. You want to check out the new hotel lobby. You want to share ideas. You want to mingle. You want to schmooze. God forbid a Gemini wants to be a little fun and flirty and intellectually stimulated. Is that a crime? Of course it's not, Gemini. And this week, you have an insatiable hunger for movement, for connection, for something that feels bigger and more exciting than your current routine. But at the same time, there is a practical variable that cannot be ignored, Gemini. I am talking moolah, the Benjamins, the dineros, those old buckaroos, okay? I'm talking resources. I'm talking your bank account. I'm talking your ability to pay your bills. This week, Gemini, you are going to become acutely aware of what things cost, financially and energetically. Every opportunity, every invitation, every potential path forward comes with a price tag of some kind. And this week, you are being asked to evaluate whether you want to pay it. This doesn't mean that you have to shut yourself off or guilt yourself or play it safe or stay in forevermore. It means being intentional. It means being aware. It means being responsible. And it means just taking a moment to consider the exchange of currency that's going on, okay? The opportunity this week is to align your curiosity with your values. What actually matters to you right now, Gemini? What kinds of connections and experiences and investments in your future are going to support the version of yourself that you want to become? You cannot put a price tag on everything, but if a night out with new friends costs you $300, that was $300. You feel me? That's okay, but you need to choose that with intention so you can stop feeling guilty about it and start understanding from a deeper, even more spiritual perspective what actually matters to you and what you want to spend your money on. Hello, Cancer. There's something significant unfolding in your professional world right now. Maybe it's a shift, maybe it's an opening, maybe it's an opportunity that has the potential to really change the trajectory of your path. Cancer, we love this for you. We've been talking about this for the past few weeks, but even as we head into this new week, the story rages on. People are still noticing you. Doors are still opening. Your lifestyle is changing right before your eyes. And honey, this is exactly what you've been working towards. But there also is a more complicated emotional truth to this. And I really can't stress the impact of that enough, because if you are finding that things are not actually moving as fast as you want them to, it's rooted not in the external, but in the internal. It's rooted in your fear. Cancer, opportunities come with exposure. Growth means the possibility of failure. Visibility means vulnerability. And this week, you're going to find yourself questioning whether you are actually ready to receive what is being offered to you. It's giving imposter syndrome, okay? It's giving limiting beliefs. It's giving, I'm having a little mentee bee because even though everything is working out for me, I don't feel deserving of it. Oh no, we hate that for you. Do not for a minute think that this is your intuition, Cancer. Let's be clear about that. This is just you needing to catch up in real time to the circumstances, right? You are moving beyond what's familiar. You're moving beyond what's safe into territory that requires you to get very, very brave in real time. Oh my God, it's Two of Wands, okay? And that is inherently uncomfortable. You have to trust yourself before you even have proof, and that is scary. This week is about accepting that it's uncomfortable, okay? It's about stepping into it and saying, I get it. I understand. So you don't need to be totally prepared. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to accept that you're learning, adapting, you're showing up, even when things are uncertain. Cancer, I want to remind you that courage is built through facing your fears. And this is one of those weeks that you are going to be working that muscle and building that skill set. Hello, Leo. This week, there is a deep desire for expansion, moving through every aspect of your life right now. Two of Wands, honey. You are craving something beyond your current circumstances. You want travel. You want to explore. You want to learn. You want to experience something that reminds you how big the world is. You want to feel the wind beneath your wings. You want to fly, Leo, because, honey, you are really ready for more. And that readiness is pushing up against the boundaries of your current reality. And there are a lot of boundaries. Are you stuck? Or do you feel stuck? If we're being honest about your journey since Jupiter went into Cancer June of last year, it's been less than ideal. Anytime a planet is in Cancer, which is the sign right before your own, it activates the area of your chart connected to your psychological well-being. And over the past 11 months, Leo, you have been feeling increasingly trapped, increasingly isolated, increasingly overwhelmed. And you know, I get it. You're trying to power through. You want to have a good attitude. You're ruled by the sun. You want to stay in the light. You want to stay in your joy. But if we could just drop the illusion for a second, there has been a really deep sadness spiraling around that is drawing a lot of your energy. And Leo, I want to tell you, that's okay. Next month, Jupiter is moving into your sign and the energy is going to change radically. But right now, this week, just gently start questioning the idea that you are actually trapped, okay? Where is that feeling coming from? What triggers it? Is it true? And if it is, how can you find new ways to free yourself? Because even with the responsibilities that you have, Leo, there's always room for you. Expansion isn't just about changing up your environment. It's about changing up your narrative, honey, the narrative in your mind. I'm rooting for you because I am you. We got this, baby. We're doing it. Hello, Virgo. For the past few weeks, you have been recognizing power imbalances in real time, where things haven't been fair, where you have been asked to give way more than you receive, where dynamics are relying on your willingness to bend over and accommodate. Ew, Virgo, no, 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 no. You have been processing all of this and realizing that this is disgusting. You are stronger than this. You are more combative than this, and you're not going to take this shit anymore. You are ready to call it out. You are ready to stand up for yourself. You are ready to finally tell that person to fuck off. But at the same time, hey, you're smart. You know that you shouldn't burn bridges, right? You know that life is all about our relationships, your connections, your net worth is your network. You want to keep yourself in good standing socially. You're no dummy, right? You know it's important for you to maintain a reputation, and you want to be perceived as someone who's thoughtful, cooperative, easy to work with, someone who can bring a solution, not a problem. And this week, you are going to feel that friction between saving face and actually honoring what you know to be true. And that is a very real negotiation, Virgo. And I can imagine that it feels incredibly maddening, but the integration is realizing that being respected matters more than being liked. That's T. You do not have to abandon your grace and your intelligence in order to assert yourself. In fact, those qualities make your voice strong and loud and powerful. When you speak from a place of grounded clarity, you are not creating conflict for the sake of conflict. You're correcting something that shouldn't have been there in the first place, okay? This is what empowerment and confidence looks like and feels like. You are not taking any crap, Virgo. You are not explaining yourself. You are not apologizing, and you are not backing down from what you know is right. It's tea. Hello, Libra. This week is bringing your attention to your partnerships. Not just romance, but also romance. I am talking the full spectrum of agreements in your life. Contracts, collaborations, expectations, the role that you play in other people's story, and also romance. So don't be surprised if this week you are presented with some exciting new opportunities, ones that feel interesting and magical and maybe a little titillating, where you're like, oh my God, this is what I've been waiting for. I manifested this. But at the same time, there is a larger vision emerging around the legacy that you are trying to build, Libra. And this is where you are going to run into some issues, because what you have been calling into your life recently and what is being presented this week is not in alignment. What is being presented is a response to an outdated version of yourself that is not really meeting you where you are today. It's low-hanging fruit, honey. It's the bare minimum. It's actually not enough for you. And this could show up as a professional agreement that you realize is limiting your growth, or a partnership that isn't paying you enough, or being pursued by someone who just cannot offer you the lifestyle that you know you deserve. And it's all close, like you're grateful. It's almost what you want, but it's not what you want. It's not what you really want. It's like what you would have accepted 2 years ago, but it just doesn't make sense for you today. So this week is asking you, demanding that you take your future seriously. Libra, you have grown. You have matured. You have changed. You have bigger hopes and visions of the future than you did before. You have bigger fish to fry. And that is amazing, Libra. Go with that. And also, if you can't renegotiate the terms, it's probably the best idea to walk away and trust that the power position you're in right now, where you can leave it on the table, is one that you are going to be rewarded for down the line. Hello, Scorpio. You are stepping into a version of yourself that takes your time, your energy, your whole damn life much more seriously. There is a desire to get organized, but I am not talking about doing it in like a get ready with me 30-second video kind of way. I am talking about really restructuring your reality and how your days function. You are noticing what works, what doesn't, where things are flowing and inspiring and thriving, where things feel boring and stagnant, inefficient, non-existent. And instead of avoiding this, you are ready to fix it. Scorpio, it's a slay. It means that you are no longer willing to live in chaos, and you know that you are fully capable of creating structures that support you. Go off. But as you start to get organized, suddenly another feeling is creeping in. What's that? Restlessness. You might find yourself thinking, is this it? Is this really all there is? Is this my life? I get up, I eat, I work, I sleep, I do it again. What's the point? And even if you're like, okay, well, things are improving, there's a part of you that's feeling really antsy. There's a part of you that's feeling like something is missing, like you need a little more stimulation, a little more intensity, a little more drama. And that tension is going to make it hard for you to stay consistent this week, because just as things are feeling stable, you are tempted to whip it up and do something very weird. Scorpio, I need you to recognize that boredom is not a sign that you are on the wrong path. It's just an indication that you need to infuse a little more excitement and variation into your everyday for growth, right? So hear me now, Scorpio. Do not, I repeat, do not blow everything up just to feel something. You do not need to be an agent of chaos and ruin all of your hard work. You just need to build a life that can hold both consistency and your desire for evolution. That's your homework, Scorpio. And that's also the tea for the week ahead. Hi, Sagittarius. Knock, knock, knock. Are you here? Yes. Yes, you are. That part of you, that Sagittarian fiery spirit that wants to create and express and make things that are cool and interesting, it's all here. You are feeling very connected to that part of your soul right now. You are not interested in just going through the motions, doing things because other people want you to. You want to work on your art. You want your ideas to be authentic. You want to feel genuine. You want to feel inspired. And Sagittarius, we love this for you. This is part of why you are here on this planet. It's beautiful. It's especially beautiful for you because as a fire sign, your passions are a defining aspect of your identity. But wait, you didn't think that could possibly be it, did you? The thing is, Sagittarius, is that you are not starting from a blank slate, okay? I'm sorry to say, you're no spring chicken. You are carrying memories of things that didn't work out before, of projects that fell through, risks that didn't pay off, moments that left you questioning whether you should even be doing this in the first place. And of course, all of the walls that you built to try to protect yourself from ever being disappointed again. And those experiences in your emotional body, they don't just disappear just because you're ready to put yourself out there again, right? They are shaping how you approach this moment. So whether you are making art or bringing something into the world or you're trying to date, there's a part of you that has been changed by your past, aware of what could go wrong. And it's making you feel self-conscious. And this week, you are really tuned in to the everything of this experience, okay? And your opportunity is one, to help you understand how you can work with all of these forces and integrate them. You are allowed to create and date and put yourself out there with the knowledge of what didn't work before. You are allowed to bring new experiences into your life, even the ones that are adjacent to the disappointments of the past, without letting whatever happens define your sense of self. You feel me? The fact that you are still willing to try, Sagittarius, the fact that you are still willing to express yourself, that you're still willing to put yourself out there, honey, that's where the real power is. That's how we know that it is a 24/7 sleigh from you, and we can trust the journey. Hello there, Capricorn. So there's a really grounding energy available to you this week that's stabilizing in a way that you have really been desperately needing, desperately craving. You are looking for something solid, right? You are looking for a sense that you're good, your life is anchored, that what you're building has weight and durability, that you can trust it. You want to feel secure. You want to feel secure in your environment, in your decisions, in your direction. And there's something really wise and embodied and mature about this expression of self, about this moment in time that you are in right now. The foundations that you have worked really, really hard to build are becoming a launching pad. And that's a really big shift. But this also means, Capricorn, that you need to keep yourself open. You need to be willing to consider opportunities that may not seem like they fit perfectly into your existing plans and infrastructure. And that includes the possibility of new relationships, new collaborations, new directions, new types of jobs, things that weren't part of the original plan. And at first, you might be offended. How dare the universe present you with this? This is not what you want, but what you are building is strong, Capricorn. And this means that it is strong enough to support whatever changes are meant for you. A solid infrastructure does not crack under change. It supports it, okay? This is architecture, Capricorn. This is structural engineering. This week, don't be surprised if a new opportunity by way of a person, a relationship, a contract, romantic, professional, whatever it is, it's popping up. And at first you're like, how dare it? Rude. But now you are learning that you don't have to be closed off. You can be open to a different direction and still be stable. You feel me? The more you allow for flexibility within the structures you're building, the more resilient they become. And the more trust that you have for yourself and what you're creating and what you're manifesting. And it all becomes easier when you say yes to things and then figure out how to put them in your life. And all of these things, whether they're new lovers or new contracts, when they come a-knocking, you're going to be ready. Hi, Aquarius. For someone who feels chronically different, chronically odd, chronically misunderstood, you are actually kind of changing. You have been putting yourself out there, Aquarius. You have been finding your people, or at least glimpses of them. You know what you care about. You know what you value. You know what you look for in your connections. And this week, you're realizing that, hey, maybe you're not as much of a lone wolf as you thought you were. Maybe you do like being in community. Maybe you want to make a community. Maybe you want to cultivate a sense of belonging in your life. That's not a big deal, and it's not a bad thing. Alongside this new awareness is a reality check around your time and your capacity. Aquarius, there are only so many hours in the day. And as you blossom into this more vessel version of your Aquarius glyph, you are also going to feel the tension between your responsibilities and your desire to want to show up for these new relationships. You want to hang, but these obligations require that you be present enough to actually make the connections, right? That you're listening and responding, and that you're not checking your phone constantly and thinking about all the things on your to-do list. And this can feel really frustrating, like you're finally trying to do something, but you can't fully invest because you're being held back by all of these things that you're not even really that intellectually stimulated by anymore. Ew. Responsibilities, obligations, Aquarius, we hate it. But there's also a different way of looking at this. This week is an invitation to shift how you think about connections. Aquarius, it's not about being constantly available. It's about being present when you can, okay? The moments you do have, the conversations that you can be part of, the time that you can spend, the ways that you can show up, that matters more than how often you can go to the party, you can go to happy hour, you can send a meme, okay? And Aquarius, when you find people who get you, who see you, who believe in you, they understand what you have on your plate. So do what you can, Aquarius, and trust that friends will be there for you in different seasons of your life, because I'll tell you, that is what friends are for. Believe it or not, Aquarius, we get you. Hello, Pisces. There is a new level of seriousness entering your relationship with money this week. You're not just thinking about what you need to get by, you're thinking about what you are capable of building, honey. And there is a real presence around that, a sense that you can maybe create something financially sustainable for you, for the future, for your family, if you approach it with intention and commitment. And Pisces, you can. That confidence is important, and it's a long time coming, okay? It's signaling a shift in how you see your own value, Pisces, and that is major. But almost immediately, you're slapped with a fish. You question it. Of course you do. Why wouldn't you, right? You're like, there's no way that my art and my creativity and my wacka scuba diving ways are actually going to translate into real income. No, I will surely need to sell out. I will surely need to do things that I hate. I will surely be miserable to make money. Really, Pisces? Do you need to be miserable? Who told you that? Who told you that? This week is going to challenge that assumption. You are being asked to take your own work seriously. Not just on an energetic level, but also on a material level, honey. Your creativity isn't separate from your ability to make money. You can make money. The creatives can make money. They are making money. And yes, of course, there are going to be moments of compromise or taking on a project because it pays the bills. But that's okay. You are allowed to make money by being exactly who you are, Pisces, with the unique talents and skills and gifts that only you have. Why can other people do it, but you can't? Don't answer that. Pisces, because it's not real. You can and you will, and by the end of the week, you are going to figure it out, or at least get started in figuring it out. And that is all for this episode. What did you think? What did you love? Did your horoscope slay? Let me know in the comments what you think, and be sure to join me on Wednesday for our tea party. And then next Monday, we're back again for the Weekly Brew with horoscopes and all of the goodies. Make sure you tune in every Monday and Wednesday for all new episodes of Astrology. And don't forget to rate, review, and follow and subscribe so you never miss a thing. Bye.